Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early November 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for Scorpio gang. In Scorpio season, might I add. Let's get it going here. My guides and spirit team, talk to me. What do you got for us this week, Scorpio, in early November, early Scorpio season? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio gang. What's happening? And while we get this first card out, I just want to wish each and every single one of you a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether your birthday's just passed or whether it's still coming up, I hope you had a fantastic one, and I hope you do have a fantastic one. Happy birthday to you. There we go. Thank you. All right, so we have this really strong card of focus showing up here, and this card does have a lot of layers to it. There's a certain complexity whenever I see this card, because believe it or not, it is a guardian angel. I'm not sure if you could tell that those are wings behind it. So there's like a lot of different themes that could be showing up here. So I mean, Scorpio energy is normally rather complex, right? It's never super cut and dry. There's always layers to it, and I'm picking that up here on the front end. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So we see this bald-headed angelic figure with the wings. It has the Vitruvian man tattooed on its head, and it's looking right at that little baby, the little bambino. So to me, we're just going to go piece by piece for what this means to me. First and foremost, this is a card of spiritual protection. So this could be spirit telling you like, hey, Scorpio, I'm with you. I'm watching out for you. Spirit could be protecting you or insulating you from something when this card is here, which is a beautiful thing. So watch for the signs and synchronicities if that's the case. Another thing I think of is manifesting abundance and creation. So especially around your birthday season, now is a great time to put intentions forth for what you want to build, what you want to grow, and the direction you want to walk in. That could be really good for manifesting. But another thing I think of is focus. Notice that this angel is focused right on that creation. So for some Scorpios, maybe there's something in life that needs your attention a little more. Maybe there's something that you shouldn't pay as much attention to. That could be very possible as well. So we're just going to leave that right over there. You take from it what you will. Let's see what tarot has. And yeah, I always say the first card here doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Scorpio gang. What do we got, my guides? Talk to me. And while we get this shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled A Surprising Victory, and I hope you had one. Now, I always say that wins and victories, they come in all different shapes and sizes, whether it's monetary or interpersonal relationships or eureka moments, you name it. There's a lot of different ways that we could collect wins from day to day. So hopefully that energy bleeds over for a couple weeks, because that can be a thing. There could be certain things and situations that are moving better than you had anticipated. That's the thing I like about that. So let's see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid. It's never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or someone that you're linked to, right? Let's get 3 cards here for Scorpio gang. What do we got in early November? Yeah, okay. We started off another one of the water signs with this. I feel like it might have been the Cancerian. So Judgment in position number 1, that strong, powerful, explosive karmic energy. We could roll with it. We could work with it as Scorpios, right? Let's get a couple more. Very angelic too, just like that first card we had. Now we have the 6 of Swords moving forward. There's a lot of action. There is a lot of energetic movement here, Scorpio, in one way or another, with the 6 of Swords in the center. Let's get one more. Let's get one more for Scorpio gang, please. Is being very specific. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, so you're going to have a bonus this week, my friends. So we do have another karmic energy showing up here on the back end. We have the 7 of Pentacles, and then we also have the Hanged Man. showing up as this week's bonus card. So it's kind of like a lot of the layers we were seeing with the angel are starting to show up here, which is good because that's going to allow us a little more time to go in depth with these energies. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I kind of like what I'm seeing. There is like this little seesaw of action where we're starting out with a bang, we're moving forward, then both of these are not moving at all. So it's like some energy's moving, some energy's not. So for a lot of Scorpios in this time, there could be certain things where you're seeing progress, you're seeing leaps and gains. There could be other things that are just not moving. We also have a double down of karmic energy. We have a card that could be representing you, and for all I know, maybe you're magnetically pulling energy towards you as well. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build it out, because I know we're going to need to clarify for sure. But position number one, we have judgment. Now, this could be very simple, cut and dry. You see the angel there. I already gave that message with the Archangel Gabriel of the spiritual protection, spiritual insulation. This is a card of that as well. So it's like we have a double down of that energy. But Gabriel's the messenger. Usually it's alerting us to something that's about to go down. It's explosive. It's a Plutonian type of energy. Very similar to the tower, believe it or not. So again, as Scorpios, we could deal with this type of energy, roll with the punches, or go through these transformations. So when I see this, I do think of change or just an explosive energy that could go either left or right. This is also a karmic energy, just like that Seven of Pentacles. So we could be looking at big picture things, and karma is a complex thing. We'll talk about it more when we start clarifying it. But I like judgment. Sometimes it could represent things coming back around. Same could be said with this card. Same could be said with this card. So there's already energy of things possibly looping back around or returning. So we're going to have to take a look at that for sure. Judgment can also represent making literal judgments, judgment calls, decisions. So we shall see. Now, moving over, we're not really slowing down. We're keeping the energy moving. We go from judgment with all that change into the Six of Swords. Now, I see this card, I think of improvement. I think of things getting better, coming out of the choppy waters into the calm. Now, every card has positive and challenge. Some more of the positives of this card, it's progress, it's action, it's moving forward in a good direction. This could represent distance. It could represent travel, of course, modes of transportation. But the challenge with this card, or the dark side of the Six of Swords, it could represent leaving something behind. It could represent abandoning certain things. It could represent an individual you're connected to where they just don't do what they're supposed to, or they're not doing the right thing, or they're not doing enough. That could be a thing with this card. So we're not going to fully harp on that, but I just want to give you the full picture of the energies that are showing up. And there is a flow here where it's like we're starting strong, we're moving. I want to see what's up, why the energy starts to slow down as much as we get to the back end. And we'll talk about all this more. When we get to the Seven of Pentacles, this is where it gets very intriguing, because you see this person, they're waiting. They're waiting. So maybe there's something you're waiting on, waiting, watching the water boil, so to speak. When this card shows up, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It is a card of patience. You've heard the term patience as a virtue. That's kind of what this card means. Like, let something bloom, let it go through its process, let it work through what it needs to work through. When we see this card, in its rough sense, it could represent delays, it could represent problems, it could represent things that don't seem to be blooming the way they're supposed to. So you could see how we have like this dynamic in the reading this week where it's like, yeah, no, this is moving, this could work really good. But then we also have a dynamic of like, oh, it's so close. Like it almost got there, but it didn't. The Seven of Pentacles to me is also karmic. Reaping what you sow, what you put forth, you get back in return. So this could be a very important card, just like Judgment. Moving to your bonus, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on the bonus, we do have the Hanged Man. Very analytical, a retracted, pulled back type of energy. Okay, this is an energy of watching. It's an energy of strategy, very similar to that angelic figure in the beginning. So for some Scorpios, yeah, maybe there's something you just really have your eye on, or whether it's a situation, it's just I'm watching it, I'm keeping an eye on it. It's not getting one over on me. That's what I think of. And this is one of the cards that represents Scorpio. I believe there's a lot of readers that link this to like Scorpio, Virgo, Pisces. Well, it depends on the reader's outlook. I link it to Scorpio though. But when I see this energy, the way it's sweeping, I'm starting to see that magnetism that shows up from time to time, where it's like this energy is moving towards Scorpio. So now's a great time for manifesting. I want to dive deeper on all of it though. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, Scorpio. Let's see what's happening. And guides, talk to me. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Judgment. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Scorpio gang, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Judgment time. What's this action? What's this energy about? Please. Thank you. Tower in reverse. This doesn't necessarily have to be bad, and I feel like I've seen this for us in like the past couple of weeks. The Tower is another one of our cards, so there is a big focus on self. Tower in reverse can represent returns of different kinds. So for a lot of Scorpios in this time, it could be a shocking return of something. For another portion, like this is a double down of a very similar energy, because remember I said in the beginning, like Judgment is very similar and on par with the Tower. So when I see that with one of our cards in the reverse next to it, it's just like shocking energy moving forward. Now, does that have to be a bad thing? No. Remember I said this is a vibe that we can work with. We could deal with this. We could deal with the transformation and the change of it. But the Tower in reverse generally represents something that's already happened. Normally, like the way I read it. So when I see Judgment with the Tower in reverse, all of these first three cards, like these two up top and the Tower in reverse, do indicate that in this time there could be flare-ups of different kinds. So whether it's a situation that returns, whether it's an individual, it's like revisiting. I'm revisiting the past before I can move to the future. Before I can move to the future, I'm revisiting the past. It's like giving me that kind of vibe. So keep that in mind. It could come in like shocking, or it could come in explosively strong. So keep that in mind. And again, this is also a karmic card. So you see all the little themes that we have in the undertones. It's like we have Scorpio energy, karmic, 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 moving, moving, stopping, stopping. It's like the energy is working in a couple of different ways. So yeah, we're going to keep moving. We're not going to talk that into the ground too much. Either that is a shocking return or one that just pops in explosively. So let's keep moving. We're not going to linger there too long. It is what it is. Either that or this is a change you're experiencing. It could be a metamorphosis, right? But I keep getting that vibe, like in order to move forward, I need to revisit the past. And in order to move forward, I need to revisit what's happened. So let's see what's up with the Six of Swords. For some of you, that might be a good piece of information for you, right? Like if you're feeling stuck in regards to something, maybe there's just something you still need to work through. But let's see what the Six of Swords is here. In order to move forward, I need to go back. Weird. Yeah, and it's showing up again. So the Knight of Swords in reverse underneath the Six of Swords. In order to move forward, I need to go back. Why is this? And listen, if you're a weekly watcher of my readings, like stuff like this rarely or never happens where I'm like getting very similar energies. So I'm not sure if this is like you and another individual and you're both in a mirroring type of pattern where it's like for either of you, in order, like you need to revisit something before you can move forward. That could be very possible. Now, the Knight of Swords is usually a card of fast forward movement, fast forward action. Watch out for issues with air signs, right? Especially if you're connected to a flaky air sign. And listen, I'm not calling any air sign cross watchers out. Like if you're an air sign, watch out with your Scorpio, especially if it's a flaky one, right? I don't want to upset anybody. But when I see the Six of Swords and the Knight of Swords in reverse, it's either I can't move forward yet, like there's just something that won't allow me to move forward, or in order to move forward, I need to go back to what has already been. So I feel like it's pretty cut and dry, and it could also be a flaky individual. Okay, that's just how it's showing up to me. It doesn't even have to be sign specific. Knight of Swords in reverse is unreliable. Six of Swords can be flaky, like I mentioned very early in the beginning of the read. So let's keep moving forward. And you know, as part of the Scorpio collective myself, I know we are not the type to really shoot ourselves in the own foot and repeat it over and over and over again. So I don't feel like anyone's at risk to do that, but in order to move forward, I need to go back. Let's go in on that Seven of Pentacles here. Very unique, but I'm used to it, right? Like if you watch weekly, you know the Scorpio readings are always unique. Let's go in on that Seven of Pentacles, see what's up, then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So what's going on here for Scorpio gang? What's going on? Okay. I mean, it's improving. It's I would take your time, but when I see the Six of Pentacles in the upright underneath the Seven of Pentacles, it's like, okay, no, it's getting there. It's getting a little better. It's not quite there just yet. The Six of Pentacles is very giving, very charitable type of energy. So I feel like this could be a spirit kind of telling you like, all right, well, Scorpio, maybe you should slow it down with something, or maybe you should just not give as much. Like for the time being, you might want to put a pause on something. I don't know why that message is coming through, but I'm just going to give it to whoever needs it. When I see the Seven of Pentacles with the Six of Pentacles, for the time being, you might want to put a pause on something and not give as much to it. I don't know why that's showing up here. Again, the Six of Pentacles is very charitable. This is also a karmic card, so it links in to all the themes we've been seeing. Karmic, 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 karmic. So with all the returning in order to go forward, go back, like all these things about the cycles of life are showing up in a very important way right now. Yeah, even with this card here. So again, whether it is that shocking return or a karmic one, you name it. But I feel like there is something that Spirit's not saying like, listen, no, throw it in the trash forever. To me, it just feels like temporarily, you might want to put a hold on something or a pause on something or not give as much to it for the time being. That's just how it's coming through to me. So hopefully that helps whoever it needs to help. Let's go through and do a quick recap here. There is a good result at the end of this. That's what I'm picking up as well. So feel confident in that. But let's go through, then we'll get the shadow card. Again, if you kindly look in the box before we go through each one, the themes, multiple themes that are showing up again and again, like the quadruple karmic energy showing up this week, energy of moving forward and stopping, forward, backward, like the energy is moving in all sorts of discombobulated ways. But position number one, we're starting with judgment, that forward action and change with the tower in reverse. That's where I came up with that little phrase. In order to move forward, you might need to go backward or revisit something. Again, this could be a shocking return of some sort, very possible. But again, the energy is moving. The energy is moving. It just feels dense for some reason. Even moving to the center, we have the Six of Swords with the Knight of Swords in reverse. If you're dealing with any individuals, I'm not even going to slap a sign on it where they're a little unreliable or they're a little flaky. That's showing up here in a prominent way for whatever reason. But again, this energy of revisiting things. It could be just from your end. It could be two people's ends. It's like in order to really move forward with something, there's more that needs to get figured out that you've already been through. On to the back end, we have the Seven of Pentacles with the Six of Pentacles in the upright. Like I said, there could be something that Spirit wants you to pause or not end or throw away completely, but it's like for the time being, you should not give as much to something. So do what you will with that information, my friends. You have free will to do as you please. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows, though. Let's see if we get any more of the themes showing up here. So let's do it. What do we have here for Scorpio gang, please, in shadows? And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get your one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out here. What do we got? Well, what do we got for Scorpio gang? Thank you. Yeah, Three of Swords. That is not an uncommon shadow card to see. Okay, and it shows up for every sign from time to time. We got this little bird here with the Three of Swords. So let's talk about it. This is a card that I always say is on a spectrum. It's a card of pain. It could be anything from gloominess and little nerves and little anxiety all the way up to a broken heart. And the fact that it shows up in the shadows does tell me that somebody is still quite affected by something, that it's not fully worked through. And it makes sense with what we were seeing within the reading itself. Now, I'm not going to say that you need to put a timetable on your journey. I'm not going to say you need to put a timetable on your healing as an individual, because that's not the case. But even if it's suppressed, even if it's not addressed, it's still there. Something is still there that still needs to be worked through. And we saw it within the whole reading itself. We're seeing it here. Okay, so now is the time where various things could come up to the surface, good, bad, and indifferent ones. So yeah, Scorpio, lots of stuff happening in this week, my friends, but that's what I got for you. I'm going to put that Three of Swords right there. And don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the November subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar and book one on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of one of my all-time favorite decks, the Gilded Tarot Royale. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards, which one do you feel is the most misunderstood? And if you're new to tarot completely, which one do you have a little trouble with understanding its meaning? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.